dog footprint. All right, it is 5:35. We continue the October 15th Milton Board of Selectmen meeting. I invite everybody to please stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I ask everybody to please remain standing for a moment of silence for the Brown family. Thank you.
All right. First up, public comment. Anybody that's public comment, please come up to the podium.
You want to wait? No, I'll go ahead. Hey, my name is Bob Carrier, and I'm not speaking for the Budget Committee. I'm speaking for myself. The welfare, there's going to be a point where you're not going to be able to cut anything out of it. Even though money's not being spent, but there's going to be a point where you got to leave some money in there, because if we get caught with nothing in it, we're going to pay for that. The other issue that I have is when you look at a town employee, their salaries or their benefits that you want to make changes, there's got to be a point where you got to be fair with the employee. My feeling is this, that we have one here, the welfare director has taken classes. She's gone to every class there is so she can keep up with the guidelines and the statutes. The thing I feel that every employee, everything should be vetted out to make sure that you're not going to make a serious mistake by maybe cutting it. The thing I'd like to include in this thing is that what I have here is a job description. This is very important. This enlightened me. This is the welfare and administrative assistant, dated June 27, 2017. 2¼ pages long. I think this is something, a criteria that should be added when you look at everybody's benefits and their salaries. And take a look at it, because I know you want to drop the welfare hours. We don't have a crystal ball to tell us what's going to happen next year. What if we get an influx? Then what? We got a problem. I believe that any town employee should have a fair share of getting all that is taken out, everything's put before them. And the job description is very valuable to me. I've done this last year for the school. The SAU was asking for a huge amount of money. In order to justify it, I asked for a job description. Just because Wakefield was gone, they thought that maybe we're not spending it, we don't need to spend this much. For me, when I saw the job description and the added job that they had to take, it was an eye-opener for me. Because I knew he took on extra jobs, but to see that list was incredible. All I ask that every employee have a fair shake in this. You look at it, determine with their job description, it will help you make a decision whether you want to go with them or not. It's your decision. Whatever you make the decision, at least it's been vetted out. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. Andy.
Good evening, folks. Andrew Rawson. First and foremost, I want to send my condolences to the Brown family. My thoughts and prayers go out with them. It's a tough tragedy that they've gone through, and so my heart's heavy for the Brown family tonight. Second of all, we are going to move forward with the trunk or treat this Saturday. It's the 20th, and we really need vehicles to participate in the trunk or treat. So if anybody out there that, you know, would like to participate, bring your car down, even if you don't really want to decorate it up nice, that's fine. Just to be able to hand the candy out and see the smile on the children's faces is a plus. So so we are going to do that on the 20th. So that's this Saturday. We're going to have some food there and some games, so hopefully it'll be a good day. And so that's from 5 to 8 o'clock at night. And I know that they are trick or treat for the town of Milton. I just wanted to throw it out there. It was Halloween night. So if anybody didn't know, so
That's the question. Is there a rain date?
for trunk or treat.
Yeah, I looked at the extended forecast was calling for heavy rain on Saturday.
Yeah,
One of them.
I did look at the forecast, and it was showers in the morning, but then it,
Okay.
yeah. If, you know, we'll have to look at it, I guess, more towards the end of the week. And what we did last time is we moved it to Halloween night, and we had it out in the M. Ramsey parking lot. But hopefully we don't have to do that. So
Okay.
we'll play it by ear, I guess.
So if you can just keep in contact with the town
Sure.
office so we can get the message out if that's...
Yeah. Yeah, if it's going to be like a huge washout, then of course, unfortunately, we won't have it. But so, anyways, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Any other public comment? All right, I'm not seeing any, so I'll close public comment. So next up, new business. First on the agenda, additional public comment discussion. I put this on here. I know this year with our bylaws, we talked about several different things, and one of the things that we had done was change the public comment, how the public comment was being done at the Board of Selectmen meetings. I've received feedback over the amount of time that we've been trying this, and I've received a lot of feedback about how it's difficult to comment on something that was discussed at the meeting if you only have it at the beginning of the meeting. So I was maybe considering, if the board agreed, maybe we should add another public comment towards the end of the meeting and ask that it be just kept to something that was discussed during the meeting, and keep it to like 2 minutes each. Just, I mean, unfortunately, we can't violate the freedom of speech, so if we don't put a time limit on it, we technically can't stop somebody from coming up and talking for an hour
Make it
about
an
what's
emotion.
going on across
Make it
the...
an emotion, I will second that. So I agree that they should have a voice at the end of the meeting, so.
All right, so if we just have a consensus, why don't I'll mark up the bylaws for the next meeting and then put them in here, and we can approve the bylaws. And
If we want to start tonight with...
if we start tonight, maybe we do it before the administrator comments.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right. Okay, moving on, next up, Halloween Street Crossing Safety Request.
It was, his name was incorrectly spelled.
Jeffrey?
I'm Jeffrey Zajac. So we'd like to get permission from the board again this year to do the same thing we did last year. Seemed to be a great success. Got a lot of feedback from the parents walking around with their kids. They absolutely loved it. So that's why I'm here today.
All right. So this is crossing guards for
Yep.
trick or treat night?
And Chief Kraus has no issue with?
No, we can,
Okay.
As long as they do the same as they did last year with the vests and the flashlights with cones so that they're visible, no issue.
Okay.
What about the mills? I know we saw the request. Is there, I mean, Milton Mills is probably busier than Milton lately.
The police department plans to do the same thing we did last year. We're bringing in all of our officers. All officers will be on duty during trick-or-treating. So we will have 2 officers in the mills, 2 officers here to handle all calls and to observe any traffic or foot traffic issues.
Okay.
Yeah, we would love to be able to branch out and help out there as well, but
Personnel.
All right.
Oh, I see. Go ahead.
Make a motion to allow Great Bay Radio Association to assist with crossing on Dawson, Steeple, Mill, Elm, and Silver, Route 125, Charles, and by the Veterans Park.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, appreciate it. All right, next up, acceptance of highway safety grant. Chief Gross.
This is the grant we get every year, the highway safety grant for speed grant, step grant, and for the DWI patrol. This year they have done their grant a little bit differently. Usually we get 3 different blocks of money. This year they just gave us 1 block of money and just broke it down separately. The total block of money this year is $14,834 that we were approved for. It is approved into what is called step patrols. Those are patrols where we can do, the police department can make determination at times and frequencies of where we're having a lot of issues with high stress and high risk traffic, and we can then send out 4-hour patrols for overtime officers. The grant pays the officers time and a half to go out and do that. We have to match a 25% match, but we can use fuel, the cruiser usage, those type of things, and any time that they have to type reports or any arrests and assisting officers.
Does this, I know every time in the past, well, a lot of the times in the past, it's been on the Spalding Turnpike.
They changed it.
I mean, so we can do the Applebee's, the Governor's
Yep.
Road, the Dawson Street, you know, the ones that everybody are complaining about.
Yep, it used
Okay.
to be, the speed detail used to just be Route 16 corridor.
Correct.
They've changed it and allow us to do it anywhere in town where we have traffic issues.
Okay.
That grant gave us $4,674 of the $14,000. Operation Safe Commute, which is a statewide coordinated, they pick the day, they pick the times. It's usually during commute times, and we're looking for unsafe operators, people using their cell phones, things like that during commute times. That was $2,926. New Hampshire Join the Click is a nationwide seatbelt enforcement interaction. New Hampshire doesn't have a primary seatbelt law, so obviously we're looking for anybody under the age of 18 who's not wearing their seatbelt for that one. That's only $433. And then the DWI patrols is 4-hour patrols after 6 p.m. Again, those are nights that we would pick, and they have to be on Friday, Saturdays, or holidays. And we got $6,801 for those. So it's a 35-page document. So I'm asking for the board to make a motion that I can get with the chairman, and he can sign what he needs to sign, and I can sign what I need to sign, so we can get this sent back to the state.
I'll make a motion for Chairman Tebow to go ahead and sign the safety grant with the chief.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Thank you.
You can seal this. You seal it. You're gonna need to use these words.
All right. Next on the agenda is unsealing of some non-public meeting minutes. This is strictly a housekeeping item. These are being unsealed to be released to the police chief because of police personnel file matters, and it's not for public release. This is to be compliant with state statutes. So I will make the motion to unseal the personnel non-public meeting minutes on 7/10/2018 and 9/24/18 to be strictly unsealed only for the police chief for his records.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll get this to him tomorrow.
All right. Moving on. Next is retract parking ordinance. So this was a discussion that happened at the last Board of Selectmen meeting, where in the past there was a parking ordinance placed downtown where it didn't go through the proper processes, so it's not an enforceable ordinance. So this is kind of another housekeeping item. So I will make the motion to retract the downtown parking ordinance that was per the Board of Selectmen on December 19, 2016, where no driver, any vehicle may park vehicle in downtown parking area for a period of time longer than 2 hours between the hours of 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. for any day.
I'll second.
Discussion, or?
Are the signs, have they come down yet?
No, they're still
Are
up.
they are still up?
Yeah.
They're still up.
We
yeah.
should notify them now.
Right, that they need to be.
I was gonna say, the town was not the ones that put those signs up.
No, but we need to notify them that they need to be removed, correct?
Yeah, we can tell them to remove them from this building, but we as the town did not put those up.
Okay.
Or give any authority to have them put up.
All right. So, take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. On to old business. Selection discussion on budget presentations from 9/24 and 10/1. We have town clerk, tax collector, welfare, town administrator, government buildings. So, just to sum up, I guess, my memory of this, and if the board wants to chime in, please feel free. So we tabled the town clerk, tax collector because there was a additional full-time position added, and I think we wanted to see everybody's before we made that decision. The welfare was tabled because, Aaron, you had some recommendations for that one. Town administration, that I think that was just presented for the first time last week. And then government buildings was also presented for the first time last week, but there was discussion about cemetery business and concerns that some of that should be under the government buildings budget. So with that being said, how would the board like to proceed? We also have quite a few presentations tonight to get through.
Right, and one thing I just can make a comment before,
Yeah.
you know, we just got, as we sat down here tonight, just got handed the insurance adjustments for health insurance for next year.
That's one of the presentations I have to do tonight.
Yeah, well, but that ties into everything in the budgets. I mean, we're looking at $236,600,000 increase over this year in just in health insurance. You know, that changes a whole bunch of things going on in Andy's head as far as everything else that we've already done. You know, how much can people swallow? I mean, we're already looking at almost a 7.5% increase in, you know, this year's budget, so.
And the rate of inflation is 3%. We told them a 3.8%, I think, is what was discussed. Is that correct, or am I? 3.7%, so.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
that's
just don't have
more-
control over
No,
health
I
insurance.
I
mean, all the
hear ya.
insurances we just don't have in retirement. That's something. Those are the costs we don't control.
I know we don't have any control over it, but it's just,
Out of control.
I mean, I can't, I don't know. I'm leaning at almost to say cap and level fund it, and then, I don't know,
But even if you level fund it, I think your insurance costs are still
oh,
going
I understand that.
Yeah.
I totally understand
That's not
that.
going to really solve our issue.
But we have some serious issues here. I mean, that's, you know, I personally have no problem with the welfare. I really don't. I mean, now I'm kind of backtracking. I don't think that we should do any new employees. I just, in the light of things, that I don't know.
All right, so do we want to table this item 6 discussion and move on to the departments or the budgets that haven't been presented yet first?
We can do that and then come back.
Do,
Because we get,
oh,
Can I do the cemetery warrant though?
we have quite a few to go through,
If I
so.
don't make it through.
Yeah,
I
let's,
wanna do it.
whatever she's got to do.
what do you got?
Can I do the cemetery, the warrant to
All
pay
right.
this for the cemetery, just because if I don't make it through,
Yep.
but I need to leave?
Okay, so we're gonna move on to other business, which is the department budgets that we haven't been presented yet. And we're gonna move the cemetery one up. So
Okay. So that's,
we'll start with cemetery.
okay. Is that what you said?
So
Oh,
I
just to
could
pay
do-
that.
Right, just to do this
She
for
just
the
wants to pay,
payment.
but she just wants to pay
Oh,
that.
not the whole budget.
Right,
Oh, not the
not the
budget.
whole
Okay,
budget,
yeah.
to
Oh.
pay.
She just wants to make the
Just-
payment, because she's fading fast, I think. That's what-
I've been
Okay,
up since
sorry,
4, so
misunderstood where
that's-
you're going with that. I
Well-
thought,
I
So
got it.
did I. I'm sitting
I
there scrambling.
completely misunderstood that.
I got you.
So
Thank you.
I apologize for everybody
That's
that's
okay.
out there. We need to take care of a second a different matter, has nothing to do with next year's budget, real quick here.
Okay, so it's brought to my attention that there's an expansion that's been going on for over a year at the cemetery down in Milton Mills. And we have an invoice that needs to be paid out of that because it's covered under Article 29 from the 2010 annual report. Do I have to read this? Okay. I want to make a motion to go ahead and pay the invoice of $525.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And because it's covered, because it is expansion, it's covered under the warrant
Do you want to
article.
get where it's coming from? Did you state that?
No. I take that back. From the capital reserve, cemetery capital reserve fund is where the money's coming from. Sorry.
All right, all in agreement of that?
Yep.
What was the figure?
$525.
520?
Five.
525.
525.
Sorry.
All right. So, now we will go to budget presentations that we have not heard yet. You want to start in order? All right, we'll start with sewer.
Good evening. You must have all the numbers in front of you, don't you? In the
Yep.
Spreadsheet, I'm sure. Basically, not a lot of change. You want me to go down through it line by line, or do you have any specific questions that I could answer? Or?
I got a question. How come 2 telephone lines?
The line from the Charles Street pump station to the plant,
Yeah.
and then from the plant outside.
Okay.
So there's always been 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. I did a minor adjustment on the electric. Obviously, the rates have gone up for this 6 months period through January, I guess. Don't really know what's going to happen after that. I would assume that they might drop down a little bit, but I did make a slight adjustment to, based on our kilowatt hour usage, based on the new rate. So it wasn't a lot, but just a little bit of a change there. Couple of minor decreases for water. Telephone, one of the lines went down just a couple of bucks, so I adjusted that. The one that might be a little confusing for you, for the public, is under buildings and grounds maintenance and equipment maintenance. You'll see, even though it's a net zero increase or decrease. I shuffled the money around a little bit only because the expenditures over the last few years indicated that that was a truer number. So I took 2,000 from one and put it in the other to, you know what I'm saying, to make it allocate the money to the proper line based on the last few years of expenditures, just so you get a better representative number of what's going on there. So
How come this doesn't fall under the building and grounds of the town?
I don't know. We've always taken care of the wastewater facility.
This is all funded with
Sewer department funds, yeah.
sewer fees, so.
The highway department had us come down to work down there. They did some of the siding on the building and
Right,
so forth.
that's
Did
what I'm
some
saying, but
framework and
it's a
stuff.
town building, correct?
Technically, yes, but generally sewer department in the town, because it's a town organization, should be funded, self-funded by sewer department funds. Typically, you wouldn't want taxpayers' money subsidizing the sewer department funds. It's not to say you can't, but typically you don't see that happen. If you had a water department that wasn't private like it is here, you'd have a similar situation where you'd have a self-funding situation. But typically, you don't want to use, taxpayer money for a revolving loan fund like the sewer department is.
So the generators and everything is in that line, correct?
That would be under equipment maintenance,
Yep.
second one that I alluded to. Yeah, all the equipment is in that second line. Buildings and ground basically is just what it is. It's the building, the roof, the siding, the painting, and all that sort of stuff. The grounds, the mowing. I had to have tree company come because the state wanted us to remove some trees that were at the toe of the slope. It was too close to, they thought it was going to be an issue with tree roots growing into the slope there. I don't think so, but it was their call. So we had those trees cut. There's some other stuff we had to do for the state down there. So all those things are coming under that buildings and grounds maintenance line. And then, but the sewer line maintenance stayed the same. Permits and testing has historically been about the same. So really no significant changes. I think a total is 87 something. The income historically for the sewer department has been about 90,000. So the rates are good with the budget at this point. So I don't see any sense for a rate increase right there. So
I'll make a motion to accept the sewer budget.
Second it. Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
yeah.
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
I have the treasures.
Okay. Actually, do we want to jump to assessing? I don't know if Kathy's planning on staying the whole.
She said she'd hang out for a while. It's up to you.
Do you want to?
Let's do it, so she doesn't have to hang.
Yeah.
The first line item is going to be 4152, which is my department 1110. It's the full-time salary. There is, it has the COLA and the merit already in it. It's 48,724. The FICA 220 for 2019 is going to be 3,020.88. The Medicare 225 is going to be $706.50. These are all mandated percentages by the government. The training line for 2019 I've reduced by $50. I've only spent $10 to date. It's been a very busy year. It's hard to sometimes get to some of the training. So I have a request in there for $100. The Registry of Deeds I've reduced to $250 because sales are picking up, but still the transfers are still lower than before. And it's for copies of deeds and recording of documents, current use, as well as copies of plans or any research that we have to do for various things that we're doing for the town, tax deeds and things like that. The legal notices I've dropped down to $75 because we really haven't had to place any legal notices for quite some time, but I do think we need to keep some money in there just for future in case we need it. I want to drop that down a little bit more, I understand. The next one, the line is 393, it's the software. This is the software from my Avatar programs, which also feed the building inspectors programs, the tax collectors programs, sewer. Everything feeds off my main program. And every year there's updates for the MS1, which is part of the setting of the tax rate, the state forms. So they do updates, and it's for changes to that, as well as the online service that we have on our website for people looking up their assessment cards, their maps and things. They both have to be updated periodically. And I have no increase to it. I have it the same as last year, and you can see I'm $20 shy of, $20 more than I spent last year. So we spent $548. I will say that I do think that some of the stuff for supplies and different things like that is going down, and I think that is contributed to the fact that people do get their information off the website, and it is helpful to the town. My next professional services, this is for the updating of maps. I have increased that this year over 2018 to $1,500. We are going with GIS, we're working on building that, and I have sat down and discussed with them the amount of money they felt needed to come from the assessing office, and ours is the base of their startup. They do have to give me updates every year when there's been changes or corrections made to the map or subdivisions. And I think in the future, it won't be this year maybe, but in the next couple of years, this is going to be very beneficial, and cost will go up as we do more subdivisions and have planning in the future. So that has gone up to $1,500. The updates and the corrections, it's a mandated thing by the state. We do have to do that to our maps anyways. The contracted assessors, 396. Last year, in 2018, we went into a 2-year contract. And as you can see, I've only spent $13,880 at the time I prepared this, and I had $65,000 in there. I will have to encumber that money in December and bring it forward to the 2019 year, and I've requested $67,760 to meet the contract that we signed in 2018. 2019 is also going to be the first year to a 5-year reval. It's the major base of the reval, and then we do the cycles for the next 4 years. The next item is printing, 610. I've dropped that down to $25. I cannot foresee any major printing in the very near future. About the only thing I am printing now, because of everything we do in-house, will be business cards, and I just got some, and that should last quite a while, so I dropped that down to $25. The supplies, I kept it the same. Basically, the supplies is for ink, paper, and other small things, envelopes that I do need in the office. Ink is probably one. I have two printers in my department, so probably most of my cost goes towards ink. The next line is going to be postage, and I reduced that down. Postage is something new to everybody's budget in the last couple of years, and we're still seeing how it affects us. I left $400 in there. I'd like to drop it down more, but I'm going to have to do some certification letters that is mandated by the state, where we certify elderly or veterans every 5 years. It has to be done. So we do mailings and ask them to come in and basically reapply for the exemption to make sure that they still meet all the qualifications. Next item is going to be equipment maintenance. I reduced that down to $100. In most cases, if one of my piece of equipment failed, the repairs, $200 would repair it, and we would end up probably repurchasing a new, if it was a printer or something. I dropped it down to $100. I feel comfortable at this time that we will be all right for another year. Equipment purchase, I left $200 there. Could be possibly for a printer or a calculator or a mouse, which I do feel that if I had to replace any of them, I could do with that $200. Mileage, I dropped down to $25. Well, a few times I've used my car for anything. I've never put in for my mileage, nor do I see myself in the future doing it to just do something quick. I like to keep the line open if things change in the future that we're traveling more, but I've dropped that down also. Membership and dues, I dropped down $10 to the $20 that I pay for the Assessors Association dues. And then miscellaneous, I have $10 there just to keep that line open for an expense that does not meet the other line items.
All right.
I'll make a motion to accept the assessing budget as written.
Can I, sorry.
But
Can I ask a question though? Why is there, on the professional services, there's 1,000 budgeted for 18, there's nothing used?
Because
Is that because of the GIS is coming in?
No, it's because the maps have just been completed and I haven't paid the bill yet.
Okay, all right. I
But
figured it had
will
to be,
paid,
but
yeah, it will be paid in probably with, I haven't got the bill yet, so I'm sure they will be sending it to me within the next couple of weeks.
okay. All righty. That's it.
so I'll make a motion to accept it. You want the figure or
Sure.
for 128,816 and 38 cents?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We want to do treasure. We want to do police next.
What's treasure?
You're going to be here all night anyway.
Yeah, you might as well cut me a pillow. Thanks. He's so good to me. You could give me a break between some of these. I'm going to lose my voice now. Andy's just going to use all the candy up and I won't have any voice left.
realizes that one sheet of paper screwed up my whole filing system.
It's easy to find.
Uh,
It's easy to find. You're gonna go next, Chief?
What's that?
You wanna,
No, we can do, mine's probably the longest, so if you want to do the trust fund one first. Do the
Hold on.
3 or 4 smaller ones first.
Can we do the,
let's just do one, I don't care which one.
why don't we do the,
We got
why
a
don't
lot
we
to
do
go
the-
through,
why don't we
so.
do the treasurer? It's only,
treasurer's next in line, so
let's do the
keep it.
treasurer. Like, and then I'll give you the trustee, the treasurer. The treasurer. Treasurer this year has the deputy treasurer has dropped to $200 from $400. Treasurer elected is $6,760. Kept that the same line. Treasurer FICA is $420. Medicare 99. Training is 100. Then we're down to office supplies at $450. That includes an increase for deposit slips. Postage, $75. Mileage, $2,200. Membership and dues, $25, for a total of $10,330 for the treasurer.
I'll make a motion to accept treasurer's.
For $10,330. I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moderator next.
Okay, moderator one?
Yeah, that's treasurer's. But he didn't have a.
What was the total?
Okay, the moderator budget.
30.
Moderator budget is a total of $2,791. 2 elections. The salary is $350. Election officials, I believe that is $1,314. Supplies is $300. Equipment, moderator equipment maintenance, $825. The next 2 lines are $1. $2,791.
Make a motion to accept the moderator's budget for $2,791.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Keep going in order. Supervisor, the checklist.
Okay, supervisor, the checklist.
We have that in our packet.
Oh, I mean, I feel like we should look at these. She came in her,
Okay. It's the same thing in our packet, I think, just in color.
she came in today to drop that off. I don't know what you have up there. I haven't seen what's up there. Okay. There's supervisor checklist budget. Oh, should. I'm trying to read what he's got up there compared to what's in my packet. Okay. It's cut out.
It's gonna match, I think.
I'm trying to think. I think, Chief?
You're good.
Where is he?
The beginning.
That's too. I'm going over there. I can't. That's because I'm picking up. Okay.
Salary elected.
Yeah, I see that.
Requested budget 1325 or 1445.70.
She's got 2 different lines.
She's got 2 different numbers. But she explains why she's got 2 different numbers.
Okay.
Stipend positions are $10.85 per hour, or the request for the supervisor's pay to be up to $11.85 per hour.
For 12, yeah, for 12 hours. So there's 2 options here. So 2 elections, 3 supervisors, $10.85 for 12 hours, and then the increase of another $1 an hour for the supervisor's pay. So those are the two.
So the proposal, just to be clear for everybody, is
$1 per hour. for
currently
super-
getting paid $10.85 an hour to go to $11.85 an hour.
Correct. $200 for printing for the checklist notification. Supplies is $200. To include ink for printer, pens, rulers, file folders, etc. Postage, $100 mandatory letters to registered voters. $100 for computer updates and maintenance is necessary. Then $150 for replacement of printer and monitor and computer. And then $100 for supervised trainings and election workers to meet state requirements. So with the increase, it would be $2,295.70. But first, that would be the increase for $2,295.70.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve it at the 2295.70 figure.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Did we change that?
All right.
We need to change
Hang on
it.
just a second so I can get.
You doing trustees next?
Yep. Trustees of the trust fund. Oh, God, now I got my stacks all.
Me too. Okay. She can change it in these and I don't know. Okay. That one isn't done to read. Okay. Ready? Okay. Trustee of the trust fund elected salary. This is for the bookkeeper's salary. Other elected trustees do not receive any compensation, and that is for $2,310. The corresponding FICA, $144. Corresponding Medicare, $35. Training, at this time trustee training is free of charge, so it's $0. Printing and copies, $200. Office supplies, $200. Postage, $50, covers the cost of correspondence with the investment company. Equipment maintenance, $100, covers the cost of maintenance of all office equipment. Equipment purchase, $150, covers the cost of necessary equipment such as computer, printer, etc. Mileage and travel is $100. So this budget is $3,289.
Make a motion to go ahead and accept the budget for the trustees of the trust funds for the total of $3,289.
I'll second it, but just for a quick discussion. Do we need to keep $1 in that training line to make sure it stays open, or?
I think you should.
Okay.
So, should we?
So I
You want to amend that?
amend it to be $3,290.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, you got them? Those numbers? Okay.
All right, next up, cemetery.
Okay. Cemetery. I was in and out of the meeting with the cemetery
Might as well just
trustee.
mention it.
What?
You're leaving. Yeah.
In case you guys don't realize, I'm not feeling very good. I've had some tests done and that. I don't know if I've got strep or what. I'm going home. Thank you.
Get better.
I will be
Get better.
watching you from YouTube.
Hope you feel better. I was in and out of the cemetery trustees meeting when they put together a budget.
No, I'll take them.
What? Hey! Just take them. No, take them. When they put together a budget, the cemetery budget, as it stands in the past, is $10,000. Mr. Woodruff and Mr. McQuaid, I'm going by the minutes of last month. This meeting put down a budget, or gave us some numbers. They put together a budget, I'm going by these minutes, and they put down an additional budget of $17,000 in addition to the 10, so that gives us a budget of $27,000. The number $17,000 was arrived from a figure of paying a sexton $14 an hour for 20 hours per week and $14 an hour for 20 hours per week and 26 weeks of work. A laborer $10 an hour for 20 hours a week and 26 hours of work. An administrative task for $2 an hour for 40 hours a week, 52 weeks of work. And I'm thinking of putting that on as a stipend. So that would be $27,000 for a budget for the cemetery trustee, for the cemetery fund.
So, I guess I'm a little confused, and I'm not sure if tonight we can even resolve this, but these would be town employees then.
They'd be part-time town employees, yes.
So, they can't really work for the
Trustees, because they'd be on.
cemetery or the trustees, they gotta work for a town employee.
Mhm.
So,
They have to have a supervisor.
it's not gonna,
And the other
work.
part of this was, we've discussed in past meetings, is there's also perpetual care that's,
That's separate.
that's all separate, and I
separate
think that's completely separate.
They'd have to work for
Pat
a
has his hand up.
department head.
good.
RSA 289:7, Section B, requires the cemetery trustees to prepare a budget. It requires them to prepare a plan for capital improvements and existing public cemeteries. In Section 2, the cemetery trustees may appoint a cemetery custodian or sexton who shall not be a trustee and who shall be responsible to the cemetery trustees for supervising work done in the cemeteries. They can work for the cemetery trustees. Under RSA 289:7.
All right, I just,
If you may, I'll give this to you if you'd like.
sure. Thanks. So I don't know if, I mean, I think we really probably need to have like a workshop with the cemetery trustees to be all on the same page.
I think they need to.
Yeah, but in lieu of time, the budget's due.
We gotta,
Right.
Well, we can approve the budget
and then
contingent and then meet with the trustees, because we've got to get some clarification on this. I mean, I get the budget part of it. I just
I get
don't.
it too,
I
right.
just don't get that part of it. As far as if they're going to be town employees, but they can't work.
But
Trustees aren't town
they're not town employees.
supervisors. It's like
Where are they gonna fit in the org chart?
so.
And I think, I mean, you have looked at other towns
Right.
and
This whole,
found that a lot of times they put it under the,
What does Alton
Government
do?
building,
Alton
right?
has,
Alden puts it under government. Hold on, I'll tell you in a minute. This is what we have. Alton, one full-time, one seasonal employee responsible for mowing. Okay, it goes to the DPW. Milford, DPW. Fremont, 2 employees, DPW.
speak up.
Okay. I did
Yeah, we get that. We went through that
Yeah.
before.
So I hit all the towns I could think of.
so did you find any town that they've appointed the cemetery trustees appointed a sexton for their supervisor?
No. No, there probably is, but they just.
I mean, I'm not against it. I
No,
just
I'm
wanna
not
make sure
either, I
we're-
just wanna make sure we
we
can
want to cover
run it
ourselves.
by,
Let me-
I say we run it by Walter.
Let me run it by, I'll run it by the town attorney, but I'll also send out an email to all the municipal town managers and say, does anybody do that? I think that's 2 ways to cover us.
Well, I'll make a motion to accept the cemetery budget.
Attorneys?
But do we want to just hold off until?
Well, we couldn't get the
We
budget.
gotta bring it, we gotta have the budget done.
I know we do. I'm just concerned of
The wording.
or getting ourselves in a deeper mess by trying to push it through and get it done tonight. Where, I mean, we're supposed to have this to the budget committee by the 19th.
By
Is
the
what
19th.
we committed to.
Yeah.
I mean, would we be better off to ask for like a 2-week extension to try to get some of this stuff straightened out? I would just rather what we present to the budget
Well,
committee
I
be
agree
correct.
100% on that, but
Because last year, I mean, what we presented to the budget committee wasn't right, and things kept changing, and it was kind of a mess. It was a mess,
Yeah.
quite honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it just didn't go smoothly. I don't know what else to say. I mean, but I'd rather try to get our ducks in a
Do you want
row.
me to text Walter?
And, well, I mean, it's not only Walter. I mean, I think we really need to have a discussion with the cemetery trustees too. I mean, I think we screwed up and missed the boat on this one, honestly. I probably this should have been addressed way before now.
Yeah. What do you want to do?
table it.
I hate to, but I think we need to, for accuracy, to be correct and accurate.
I'll make a motion table it till can we get something set up and
Yeah.
we have to do it next week.
Right. Yeah, I'll second that we table this.
All right. So you
All
want-
in favor? Aye.
All right, do you want me to still get the opinions?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, we need that
That's part of it,
like
okay.
yesterday, so.
All right, do you want me to text Walter while we're sitting here, though? He usually responds.
No,
Okay.
we get quite a few other
Okay.
things to go through.
All right, so. Okay, that one sits.
So I don't know if maybe we can even try to have another meeting. This week's kind of tough for me, but.
Yeah, this week is out for me.
Or maybe next Monday. I know the budget committee chairs here.
Yeah,
if we-
yeah.
Yep, Paul?
Okay, we could have used it by the 19th, but if you need it, we don't meet till December 5th. So if you need the 2 weeks, take the 2 weeks to do it. All I care about, we get it a week before we meet, which would be, we're a little early probably, but I want to make sure that things start rolling, because once we get into school, I don't want to get caught in 2 budgets, but if you need the extra time, there's still time available. But if I know when you're going to give it to us, it's just gotta be at least a week before we meet together. That's all I need.
So if we say the 1st of November, is that,
That should be okay. That-
We're meeting, what, November
5th.
5th?
but I think before the November 5th meeting, we
Right,
need to
right.
get this all straightened
Yeah,
out. So we'll have to have
absolutely. Yeah, I
another
want
meeting.
this straightened out ASAP. The
Right.
next meeting,
Yeah.
The next meeting, this should be all
Yeah.
done and
Resolved.
Yeah.
approved and resolved and
yeah,
moving on to other things other than the budget, right?
yes, I agree.
Okay.
Okay, so
All right, but I'll work on
we're in a
getting that.
consensus that we're gonna move the date to November.
So this is gonna be
1st.
tabled.
This one's tabled.
Yep,
Just so I know for sure, November 1st?
November 1st.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you, appreciate that. Okay,
What's the next one?
so we have police, rec, and insurance and benefits.
And then the ones on top.
So,
And then all the ones up
Rec.
top.
wanna do rec?
Sure. That's right.
Right.
Okay.
Those have been presented, so.
Okay. One. Two.
Ooh.
Why don't you throw one over there just so we keep a separate pile for Aaron to put it away? Put it in the box. Okay. Okay,
You can move over if you dare.
No,
He doesn't have to
I'm
go.
sitting in that seat.
That's a second seat.
Take my chance in there, yeah.
All right, this budget has a couple of options in it too. The first option, the first line is the recreation salary full-time. Reflects the full-time director's salary with 1.7 COLA and 2% merit for 6 months.
What's the 6?
It's halfway through the year when the merit comes in. The regular salary and then the increase at 6 months in July.
Yeah.
Okay. The second line is the recreation's assistant salary, part-time. Reflects an increase, reflects pay for 7 months based on 25 hours per leave. Well, first, this is where it gets confusing. 7 months based on 25 hours per week, or request of 30 hours per week. So that's what they see the differences in the 2 columns.
So at 25 hours, we're at 11,855.25.
And then at 30 hours, you're at 14,226.
Yep.
Okay? And then FICA and Medicare, the corresponding numbers with those 2 different ones. Then you go down to training. It's $500 for conferences, administrative classes. Uniforms, $125. Contracted services are $1. Transportation is $1. Professional services, that's $600. Computer mandatory background checks. They do have quite a few background checks because, let's face it, they are working with a lot of children, and that's required. Electric is $2,300, and that's for the meters. Spent to date, $1,799.52. Spent 78% to date. Telephone, and that's for the director's cell phone, and $15 per month stipend for assistant's phone. Printing, $200 for ink for the office computers. Supplies, all recreational supplies that are not covered by the program is $1,403. Postage, $200 yearly postage costs. Operating supplies is $1. Building maintenance is $1 because it's covered by the building maintenance. Grounds maintenance is $1. $250 required maintenance on office computers. Equipment purchase is $200. Mileage reimbursement is for conferences, trainings, use of personal vehicle. She gets that as a reimbursement, a stipend. Professional dues to New Hampshire Parks and Recs Association, $70. So, the difference in the budget is either, first choice is $67,841 or $73,994. And that's the difference is, depending on if we're going to go with the 25 or the 30 hours for the assistant director. It's either an 8.41% increase or a 12.49% increase.
I guess just as a side note, the revolving account for the town beach covers a lot of
Hours.
the expenses and hours that people work at the town beach, which
Correct.
isn't in
Right.
this.
The only question I've got is the increase in the assistant's hours. What are they at now?
She works 25 hours now. Part of her hours are funded through the beach revolving account. A lot of her hours.
Currently works 20 to 25 hours per week.
Yeah. Some of it has been covered though, like she said, through the rec revolving account. She did a lot of hours this summer when our rec director was out for some weeks. 6 weeks, I think it was.
So you're basically talking 8% increase versus about a 12% increase.
Mhm.
Oh.
So it's almost a
It's a 3%
$11,000
difference.
increase since 2017.
Yeah.
So how the revolving fund can't pick up any of this?
Apparently.
If it picks up the other part-time employees that we have, how come it can't pick up any of this?
I'd have to look at how it's worded. Partly how it's worded, and what it's there been designed to do. I mean,
Oh,
that's,
can we, I personally would rather wait and see if they can pick up. I mean, there's a big chunk of change in that revolving fund.
you're more familiar with that because you're.
So,
Well, we just, and to be honest, I haven't really had a chance to really sit down and go through it, but we just recently received all the breakdowns
You did, okay.
of what the beach takes in and what it,
well, in light of what
Well-
Bob said about we don't have, if we, in light of Karen's situation, I don't really think that
right now, yeah, definitely now isn't the
if we can
time.
table it,
Time.
just
Yep.
and look into that avenue as to if we can use those funds towards, I mean, if we're paying other part-time help out of that fund, why can't we pay
But
some
that's
of
the,
the,
I think
Right.
those are the summer help.
well, so isn't this?
Well, she works year round.
Yeah, but some of this
I
is
think you're
summer.
gonna find some of this,
You just
she
said that
already
when,
comes out of it,
Yeah.
she's getting paid out of there, depending on what she's, like if she's working with Camp 3 ponds,
She gets
it's
paid
coming
out.
out of the Camp 3 ponds account,
Yeah.
so. Yeah, I mean, I think we should wait and
yeah,
have further discussion.
absolutely.
Okay, do you have, I mean, I can look into some of it too. I mean, do you have any specific, the specific question is, can we pay,
Because, well,
go ahead.
I don't wanna, I would think the brunt of the additional help's gonna be needed in the summer,
Correct. Yeah, obviously.
but I don't. So,
I mean, it's almost a 9% increase in the budget. I mean, not that it's out of the huge number, but it's an increase.
right.
So, and out of respect for Karen, I just think we should wait for her to be able to,
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Yep.
ask for,
yeah. So,
No. No.
I'll vote to table it till
Yep.
next meeting. When?
when time is right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we'll do police.
Make a motion to adjourn.
So the police department's budget, as you can see, is 85% from the charts and paperwork that I gave you guys is 85% personnel and salary-wise. The other 15% is utilities, vehicle lease, supplies, maintenance for equipment, new equipment, and contracted services.
For future reference, don't throw in that one page that's 6 inches long. It screwed me up for a whole week.
The 2 pages,
This one.
the salary breakdown.
Yeah.
For full-time salary is 110. For 2019 is $476,433.24. It's an increase of $2,658.52. I gave you guys the breakdown that shows the increase. I also gave you, if you look at the second long form, it shows you why the increase is only $2,600. Based on the salaries of the employees that we lost this year and the salaries of the people that we brought in, even with giving them their step raises, it only comes out to about a $2,000 difference with the increase. Because we lost some higher paid employees and some of the newer employees came in at significantly lower rates. In that line is also SD1 and SD2. Court and the overtime is in that line. Overtime is not its own line. And there's an $85,000 that encompasses overtime, on-call, court, SD1, which is shift differential 1 and shift differential 2. And that is 120 is part-time salary. Part-time salary is $12,500. $500 increase is to give the 3 part-time employees the 1.7% and the 1.7% COLA and the 2% merit for those employees. We have about $6,000 left in that line. We have not had as much use of the chaplain as was expected. We've started to see that, unfortunately, pick up here in the last month, and my expectation is we'll probably see it pick up in the next 2 months. And with the boat patrol, we put out a schedule for the boat patrol, and both of our part-timers have full-time jobs, so they covered as many shifts as they could. And we're hoping to, we're probably going to have to lean on them because we have a lot of schooling coming up for our officers our full-time officers in the next 3 months. So my expectation is there'll be about $3,000 left in that line at the end of this year. Administrative assistant is going to $47,663.20. Apparently I left too many zeros in there. This line shows an increase of $7,311.20. The true increase is $5,881.20. This was with the wage adjustment for the administrative assistant to get her at an appropriate wage where she should be with her numbers of years of experience in the job that she actually does to meet what we're paying employees that do a similar job. Retention and longevity, this line did not change from 2018. It's $2,500. Chief salary, this is 2019, this is with the step, $84,240. It's $1,653.60 increase. PD grant, 144. This line is a match line. If we get grants, it's $5,000. There's no change in this line. FICA changed with the raises. That's $4,164.12 to $484.29 change. Medicare also changed with the raises. That is $9,535.87, $607.88 increase. Retirement. So retirement has a little bit of a change. I don't know why that's showing the wrong number still. Retirement's number is actually 29.43%, and it is actually going to decrease from 29 down to 28.43 as of July 1st, 2019. This number, unfortunately, has fluctuated quite a bit over the last, well, it's fluctuated quite a bit from the time I've been chief. So in the last 5 years, this number has gone way up and is now hopefully starting to come back down. I gave you guys the breakdown of how the retirement was figured out based on the 6 months, what will cost on both sides, with the raises and without the raises. PD training, this line is up $1,500. This line pays for our ammunition. It also pays for any out-of-state training. Part of my job description when I became chief, they wrote in and was signed by the Board of Selectmen that every other year I could do the New Hampshire Police Chiefs trainings here in the state, and then every other year I could do the national convention trainings. I haven't done either one of those in 5 years just because we haven't had the staff. We are at the point where the training book that comes from the police academy, there are literally 3 classes left that I have not taken, and none of those 3 classes are really benefits to the town of Milton if I do take them. So those are just classes that are just filling my 8 hours of training that I'm required to keep my certification. We're going to have a couple of other officers who are going to be at that point as well, so we need to start paying for, unfortunately, out-of-state training. That's why I'm asking for the $1,500 increase in that line. Hiring and testing did not change, it's $500. Uniforms, as I explained to the Budget Committee and the Board of Selectmen last year, this line needs to increase because with hiring new officers, it costs us about $2,500 to outfit a new officer. That's hoping we don't have to buy everything. We've had officers in the past where they're still using, they have not recycled all of their uniforms. They're using uniforms that are plenty of years old. The $2,000 is with the expectation to give each officer the ability to have $500 a year to purchase what they need for uniform things, and that still allows us $4,000 to outfit brand new officers if we have to hire brand new officers. Legal services, this pays for our contracted attorney. It's $14,000, there's no change in this. Contract services is up $185 at $22,948. The increases in that line are with our dispatch services and through our Axon services through Taser Incorporated. That contract is up in 2019, so we will have to start negotiating another 5-year contract in the data services for our body camera. Legal ads and notices is $100, no increase. Veterinary and professional services, $100, no increase. Police electricity, so with Eversource telling us there was going to be a 19% increase in 1/2 of the bill, but they also told us there's going to be another increase come December, but haven't told us what that new increase percentage is going to be. I increased it at the 19% at $1,584 increase for $8,784. We're 75% spent on that line as of October 1st. So I believe we'll spend that whole line this year. And with the increase, I believe next year will be where we need to be with that price. Heating stayed the same at $3,000. The building, since we did the attic, has stayed pretty well efficient. We haven't spent very much money in that, but I'm expecting a couple fill-ups here in either October or November. Telephone is $3,700. That has not changed. Printing is $600. Supplies is $6,000. That has not changed. Vehicle fuel I left at $15,000. That has not changed as well. We've seen a decrease in the amount of fuel we've used, but we've also not been at our full complement of officers. And my fear is with the volatility in the fuel markets, I don't know that I want to decrease that much more than the $15,000. Vehicle maintenance, no change at $6,000. Cruiser purchase lease is $31,000, no change in that. Equipment maintenance is $3,000, again, no change. Equipment purchase, $6,200, no change. And equipment lease, $4,600, no change. Mileage and travel is $1,100, there's no change to that. Dues and subscription is $750, no change. Miscellaneous is $1. Educational incentive is $4,500, no change. And the new line. So this is the new proposed line for a school resource officer. That line is $29,800. This line was brought to the Board of Selectmen when we did the team building and the planning. This was the line that was the expectation for the town to move forward on, and the #1 project to get accomplished by the board and by the department heads. I feel it should go in my budget instead of doing a split between the police department and the school. It just makes it it makes it harder to track and harder for everybody to just, we spent this much money, now we have to ask the school to reimburse 75% of that. It's easier if it's just in the police department's budget, and then I control all of that aspect without any issues. We'll have a memorandum of understanding, obviously, but, and this 29,800 is only for 6 months. It's from the employee would be hired July 1st, so we can get whatever training we need to get done prior to school starting, and then they would start school in September. And then it would go into the 2020 budget as a full year. Total budget for the police department is $992,004.26. That's a $54,387.71 increase over 2018. Without the school resource officer in the budget, it's a 2.6% increase over 2018. With the school resource officer in my budget, it's a 6% increase over 2018.
Motions?
I would just like to say, I agree 100% with the SRO, but I'm not totally sold that it should fall under your...
Under my budget.
I mean, you have dedicated patrols anyways around the school during coming and going anyways, and then, I don't know, I mean, I can see it, I know it gets messy, but a 75-25, you know, it's 75% of the school is where they're benefiting. I mean, I think it's, in today's culture, I hate to say it, that it's definitely needed. But with that being said, I just hate to see the police have to pay for it, the whole thing, so.
Well, the other reason I put it there, just in my budget only, is whether it comes out of the school's budget or comes out of the town's budget, it's all the same tax base paying into it. It's just...
I get that part of it. It's just, I don't know.
No, I understand what you're saying, is have some of it show on the school side and some of it show on the town side as an increase.
Well, I mean, like yours was 2-point-something increase, and now with this in there, it pops up to what?
Jumps up to 6%.
Yeah. I just think the town's budget is way too high. The percentage is increasing. Do you talk to the school at all about this?
Yep.
As far as them budgeting it versus you budgeting it?
The school is completely on board for the SRO.
Yeah, if you're paying for it, I'm sure they would.
Well, they were on board for them to pay for part of it as well.
Right.
But for budgeting and for housekeeping issues, it was easier, in my opinion, to just keep it into a singular budget. Because either way, we're going to have to show a line on the town side when I pay the salary.
Right, I get that. I get that
then,
part, so.
But my issue is I didn't want to run into the problems where we have a negativized line on printout sheets that are going to the budget committee or going to residents.
Right.
And residents are wondering why there's a negative line under the PD's line for the SRO until we get reimbursed from the school to cover their 75% of it. Because I know every time that we've had any negatives on a budget sheet that goes out, not just the budget committee, but also from residents who see those sheets, that's their first question is, why is this line overspent? Then we have explanations that we have to hand down, whereas if it's just in the PD's budget, the expenditure is there, and we
Yeah,
can...
and I mean, there's gonna be times that, you know, let's face it, with the history is, you're gonna be short personnel, and you might not be able to, you know, put the SRO, you might have to yank them out of there for
Well, the MOU is not going to yank the SRO out of the building.
Oh, I understand that, but there's gonna be times, I mean, I see it all the time, where the SROs, because of other incidents that happen, where you need all hands on deck, that...
Right, those types
But,
of incidents,
yeah,
but not
but-
to cover
right,
for
right.
a sick duty officer or something
Right.
like that.
But, I mean, I back at 150%. I think it just stinks that in today's world that we live in, that the culture that But that's what the world's coming to, that's where we're at. So I'll make a motion that we go with budget of 992,004.26.
And I'll second it. All in favor?
Ah,
Aye.
no more long sheets.
All right, so
We go back, right?
if we go insurance and benefits, we haven't done yet.
Let me go back here.
Let's go back to
So-
town clerk.
Rec we tabled,
You wanna go to mine?
and now if we go back,
Welfare, mine, or town clerk? Government buildings.
we get town clerk, tax collector, welfare, town administrator, government buildings. We also tabled the cemetery.
Which one do you want?
So, you want to start with the town clerk, or? I mean, that's, unfortunately, she couldn't be here tonight, so, not that I want to keep tabling things, but I don't know if we want to table that one,
Makes a difference
As
in
well?
the benefits one.
or, but that's going to change the benefits depending on what we decide.
Yeah, I definitely want that one to come back.
You want to come back or
Yeah,
table?
I mean, I just can't, I
No,
can't,
Go ahead, sorry.
I just can't support, I mean, for a town this size, I mean, if we have to, I mean, we're open 5-6 days a week. I mean, for a town this size, if we have to cut back on our hours, I mean, I know that she has a boatload of work, and I agree. But based on the size of this town, and I mean, that's something that we could look at is, you know, what do other towns do? I mean, I know towns with more population than Milton that are only open 3 days a week. So, I just,
Right, and that's under the discretion of the town clerk, but,
right, well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if, I understand she's got a boatload of work. I'm just concerned about,
right, so I just want to read this off, just so everybody gets the same information, and I assume that you got this email too of her
She said
duties
she
and what
sent-
she sent
Yeah, I
out
got
She
that,
sent,
yeah.
she sent it all to the
Yeah,
three of you
yeah.
and me.
to justify the
Full-time
additional
clerk.
full-time. So, addition to the existing services offered in 2012, my office has added the following services: open 5 days a week, 1 late night, 1 Saturday a month, fish and game licenses for residents and non-residents, boat registrations for resident and non-residents, emailed or mailed motor vehicle renewal notices, dog license renewal phone calls, emails and mailings, certified notices for dog civil forfeitures on behalf of the Milton Police Department, online pay or view taxes and sewer, beach passes sold at the office and online on behalf of Rec Department, boat passes sold at the office and online on behalf of Rec Department, transfer station decals sold at the office and online on behalf of Public Works Department, new resident welcome packets, over-the-counter credit card transactions for all services except taxes, and most recently my office has become the centralized location for all department deposits, which also requires trips to the bank on behalf of the treasurer. So I told her that I would share this at the meeting with, I know the board got it all, but also with the public, so. But I unfortunately agree that I don't think that with what, where the budget's at right now, I don't think we can afford another full-time position in that office. I think we should maybe look at, or encourage alternatives to be looked at, where maybe we're not open 5 days a week.
I agree 100%. I just,
That's not under our authority, that's under hers, but,
you know, and there again, it's not even showing what the with the insurance increase.
right. So
Well-
what would be the estimated insurance increase with that one?
Hold on. I have that all figured out. I have it.
So if you add it all up, what is that total number
Hold on.
for that one?
Well, for one, okay. I have all the insurance figured out for the whole, everybody, if we included all these extra employees. If I take out one person, the health insurance from the extra person, if we're deducting it,
Ballpark, you don't have to.
Yeah. What's the ballpark number for that one person? Not the total and the deduction, just that one person.
let me just, this is what I budgeted, I'll just tell you. You're looking at another $35,000 in benefits.
So 61,000.
What?
The proposed salary, the request was
Yeah, 30.
26, that's only 6 months, all right?
And then 35,000.
Yeah, so it's $61,000, so.
Yeah, that, if you,
It's more in benefits than probably is in salary.
right.
I mean, my
So with that being said, what is the budget figure, the budget request minus this full-time salary?
I gotta go back to her. So if we take off her full-time person,
So it's 124,575.
so it's hers would be 120. If we just went with part-time people in hers budget,
Yeah.
what is her part-time request? Did she give us-
98,472.
Is that what she gave us?
If I remember right, I thought I printed that off, but I guess I didn't.
Did she give it to you?
It was in that email she sent us.
Hold on. I think I printed them all
I
out.
believe it's the same,
I think it's almost very close.
it's very close to the same number, it's just
Here's all the stuff.
two part-time, so
It's two part-time.
there's
No,
not much of,
okay, yeah,
there's
because
not much of a change.
Right,
It's
but
exactly the same.
Right, but
the
I
benefits-
included the benefits is
Right.
where I came in, so.
Yeah,
Three part-time versus one part-time.
it ends up being a wash.
The difference comes into the health insurance.
Right.
Right. I think it's like, according to what she's saying here, this is the narrative. Okay.
No, it was in the spreadsheet that was attached to that, which broke down her part-time. I don't think I printed that off.
I thought I printed everything. Do you want to go see if you can pull that off my computer?
Pretty sure it ends up being pretty much the 124,575.
So is that gonna be the figure that we'll make a motion on?
But you have to make a motion saying it's no full-time.
I make a motion for the town
Right.
clerk tax collector budget for 124,575, then that's minus the full-time position, the new full-time position.
So,
And
do you
it's-
want it to say 124,575 to only include the full-time town clerk, tax collector, and the rest part-time employees?
Yeah, I'm cutting out the full-time positions, the only thing I'm cutting out of it and going with
The
two-
additional full-time position.
The additional full-time and going back with the,
Okay.
and keeping the part-time.
The rest of the positions part-time. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just will double-check the number. I was
Okay.
gonna. I thought it was like 122.
All right, so do we
myself.
want to, I guess, make a motion now, and then if we have to
Just did.
adjust that slightly?
Yeah.
I just did.
All right, I'll
Okay.
second it. So,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Right, I'll adjust benefits in a second.
Should be 96,475.13.
96,475.13.
Should be what?
96,475.
No, because you gotta add back in the additional part-time.
Yeah, you gotta add another part-time person, I
Which
think.
was, it was all in that spreadsheet,
She didn't provide.
in the email that, I don't know if you probably didn't get the email, but it was in that spreadsheet, and when you add the part-times back in, it comes to about the total that she had for the full-time. So, it ends up being just about a wash. It's just the benefits
It's
that,
the benefits.
which are in
My budget.
the other budget, so that's why it doesn't look like it's a big increase, but it really is.
Okay.
All right,
Alright.
so next we want to go on to welfare.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion for welfare budget of $58,072.
Was that the original one that we were presented with?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I'll second that.
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, so now we have town administrator.
No. No. I just think you say that.
Government buildings left, cemetery we've tabled, rec we've tabled, and then insurance and benefits. So insurance and benefit is part of town administrator budget.
Yeah, so we got me and then, so which one's next?
Well, we still got that cemetery thing open, and I guess thinking outside the box maybe, and maybe that's dangerous, but,
The whole government building?
well, would that cemetery position possibly fall under the town administrator instead of government building?
No,
I don't know.
no, it wouldn't fall under me.
It's gotta fall some
It's
point.
gotta fall somewhere if we don't, so. I just think, I'm just concerned with appointing somebody to oversee the work that isn't really a town employee. I just think it might get
I don't think we can.
messy. Well, I mean, we can according to that, well, it's,
Yeah,
Sure.
until somebody gets hurt, then
but
there's too many, there's, I know.
there's a lot to that.
Yeah, I understand that,
I
but what
don't
I'm
even think
saying,
we fully, I mean, I don't completely understand it.
but if
Yeah,
somebody
talk
gets
about-
hurt, who's responsible? They're town employees.
Right, and who do they report to?
Yeah, who do they report to?
Can I get a copy of that? Where do they fit in the org chart? That's what I need. So, we've got mine, we've got government buildings, we've got the benefits line. That's it, really. And the other two are tabled till we get some more information.
Right. But one of them is, I don't want to say a problem, but it could affect a different budget is my concern,
I think,
right? Am I wrong there?
No, you're right. Somebody's gonna own it.
it could be its own department.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No, I mean, the cemetery could be its own department.
Yeah, but who is the department head of the cemetery? There's gotta be somebody
The
responsible.
sexton. Sexton could be the department head, then just like assessing is a department head. I mean, that's how, it could be set up that way, that event indirectly reports to me. I mean, just like something else. I mean, that's one way to do it. I mean, that might be one way to do it, I don't know. I've never seen it that way, but
Well, if we just talk about government buildings, I mean, everything that's in there, are you okay with as it
Yeah, I'm
is
fine with
with?
that.
so you could
I mean, the only exception is if somehow this cemetery thing ends up
We might have.
having to be under there. Pat,
Are you gonna have a workshop with the trustees?
yes.
I would
I
like to
think-
be part of that workshop, if you don't mind, and we can
Oh, absolutely.
talk the whole thing out then and get
Right.
on the same page. I haven't been approached by the board at all. on anything, on what your concerns are, or how you want this to go, or anything, so.
And I don't think we know. I
Right, so
think
we
this
ought
is
to
all
all
new.
get together in the same room, and let's have a conversation, and see if we can't get to the point that we wanna be at.
Yep, I agree. I think that's where we need to go.
I know the cemetery trustees are meeting Wednesday morning to more conversation about this.
Honey, I can't understand.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
I need another mint or something. The cemetery trustees are meeting Wednesday morning at 10 to talk more about this. I do know that. They had made a budget up into some decisions, but they were planning to talk about it more on Wednesday.
I guess one thing I'm trying to do is, we need to let Pat know with what he presented us. We're
I
good with that.
understand that.
I'm
I
good
get
with
it.
it.
I get it.
And then where the cemetery thing falls, I don't know. We might have to revisit. Might have to revisit it, might not. I don't know. But
I mean, are we gonna have enough clarification?
We should pretty much in a couple days.
Well, I'm saying if nothing else tomorrow, if we can, reach out to some of these other communities that, who's got a sexton, how do they do it? How do they cover their butts to make sure that?
well, I also think we need to talk to the person that's been doing it for us as volunteer
Right.
too. I mean,
Right.
he definitely needs to
Yeah.
be
He needs to be part of the conversation.
Absolutely.
certainly a big player in the conversation.
Absolutely.
So,
But I think we get a legal opinion, we get some information from other towns, and then we talk to the cemetery trustees, all three of them.
Well, I mean, you've got a sexton, you've got a part-time person. I mean, okay, where do they go when it rains? They got to have a home base someplace. They've got to be. I mean, granted, there's going to be weekends.
right.
They might even fit under recreation too, because they might be the person,
I don't know about that, but
well, they could do some
I
work down,
No.
no, they could fit down at, I was thinking down at the
I
field.
could see the National Choir on that one.
I'm trying to come up with ideas, guys. I was just
that one. No.
all right. So
planting flowers.
I don't think we have the right players in the room to
No.
solve this now. And
Well, can you,
so
what I was gonna
let's-
say, how about you tentatively approve those other budgets and then figure out
that's
and we put the other ones in?
I'll make a
Why don't we
motion to
tentatively
do the
approve?
government buildings
Let's-
as written for
you got that number there.
$190,090.
All right, I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're gaining.
Okay.
Town administrator.
What was the total again?
Oh, for God's sake.
190.90?
No, let me get my glasses again here. 190,090. $190,090.
I guess I have it right here. Town clerk. Assessment. All right, so town administrator budget. There's another copy in the recent packet too, if that's easier for you.
It will be if I can find it. Nope, just took it out. 'Cause I thought we had a hard copy. Got
That should
it.
be the 308, right? Okay,
Please.
the right number to use is the 308.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so we did go through this last week, right?
Probably did,
Yep.
yeah.
Or last meeting, I should say.
Yeah.
But we didn't go through the insurance.
No, the insurance will be after, I gotta go through it line by line. We gotta make a change now that we know what we're doing with Michelle.
So, give us the Reader's Digest version on the insurance that we just got.
Oh, that's a different budget.
So
Yeah.
the,
That's a totally different budget. So you're gonna do one and then the other.
But your total,
There's a difference, there's a reason. Because if we took line welfare money out of the welfare line, we're putting in this one, but now it's 308,322. Go with that one. Do you see that? That's why.
so what was this other line here?
That was if we were moving some of her into me.
But we are,
Additional.
We didn't.
additional.
We didn't. Go back to 308.
Okay.
That was a proposal.
This is just moving the 10 hours, which was,
They're keeping the 10 hours.
keeping the 10 hours, which was
Which is what
always
we-
there, but it was
yeah.
in the welfare budget. We
Mhm.
moved it into this budget.
Yep. 308,322 is the number.
All right, so the 308, 322.
That's the right number.
Okay, this is, we went through all these the last trip, right? Okay.
Yep.
I'll make a motion on the 308, 322.
I'll second it.
Oh,
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so now insurance and benefits.
Okay. Insurance and benefits, I just gotta take out one figure. Health insurance. I've got a calculator, my handy dandy calculator.
It'll be easier just to get that off.
You wanna do it off the PowerPoint? Oh, you did it. I can't see from here. This is the big cost. You just gonna take one off? 2%. Go down to 8.
can you reduce that to make the whole screen?
That's the problem with it. Take off one person dental.
What?
Take off one dental.
I'm working on it. I'm
Okay.
moving it.
There we go. Perfect.
Oh, that's good. You're gonna take off 3348 from the retirement too.
Easy there.
I got the figure you're gonna minus, because I looked at it already.
So what was
The figure you're taking off for retirement, I pulled it up out of that person, is 3348. Sorry.
33,
48.
3,480.
$3,348, yep. So we have to take out that person's retirement. Okay, and what else did we miss? What else do we need to take off? You got the health insurance, life insurance, you're gonna take off $21.
So I guess why you guys continue to do that.
And
This is
dental,
probably
Did dental.
you did dental, retirement, health.
the time to have the conversation about changing the stipend for people not to take insurance.
Yeah, but I still have to budget.
I know you still have to budget
Okay.
it, but I guess what I'm saying is, if we offered a higher
Buyout.
buyout, we're still saving money. I know we should still have to budget for it, but
Yeah.
let's just say we offer, if it's, you said what, 35,000
$3,200. Oh, yeah, 35,000.
is what it's costing us. So
Mhm.
if we offer a $10,000 buyout, we're still saving.
We'd save like $30,000.
Yeah, we only have, what, 4 people that are eligible for it, that request it?
We have 5 right now that take it.
How many?
5.
Five that take it, but if we up it, we might have more take it.
Then the money goes back to the general fund at the end of the year.
I mean, it doesn't look like any surrounding towns are offering that high of a buyout, but,
Not even close.
no, I know, but at the end of the day, if it's gonna incentivize people to take the buyout, it's saving us money. But I guess there's no way to know if it'll make a difference or not.
I personally was thinking about $2,500.
Not 10,000.
No, no. I mean, where I worked, it was offered at 1,500, and I thought that was pretty decent, so. And then again, you go to work in Wakefield, and they don't offer any, so.
I know.
The thing is, if you make it so that it's higher than somebody's deductible, if they could get it on a spouse's plan, then they're more likely to take it. That's, and most deductibles are running around 4 or 5.
I don't know. I don't know how else to try to reduce this number.
That number doesn't look right. The bottom number. Oh, what it is.
Yeah, what was the number we just got nailed with tonight when we came in?
24. So that's why I'm wondering if 21's right.
Yeah, but what was the dollar figure? I wrote it down 6 times. I can't find out where I wrote it down, so.
It was.
The increase
Was 236, 43.36, and now we're at 208. Yeah, that's right. Okay. I'm gonna go over there. Okay. Am I in anybody's way? No. All right. The unemployment insurance this year, we just got the figure literally at like 4 something this afternoon, because as I was panicking, I was telling Ryan that I kept calling. It was going to be released today, October 15th, and Primex did not have it on the web portal until after 4 o'clock. Our unemployment insurance actually went down this today. We got the rate. It's $5,752, which is good. Workers' compensation, that is $60,520. Property insurance is $67,153. Property insurance deductions is $4,000 we're budgeting for. So that's I mean, that's what it was. Sorry, I was like, that was 40. So this one down to 46.25. 2019 we went up workers' comp for some reason, went up to 66,572, and this property insurance went down to 52,646. So we went down in 2 and went up in 1. And we're budgeting for property insurance deductions of $4,000. So that's at 3.6. Those numbers come down when you add everything up. That's where we are.
But this right here, 208,000.
That's an increase for benefits and everything. Yeah.
But the majority of that is health insurance.
Well, it's health insurance. I get it, but at some point, it's going to be passed on to the taxpayers.
No, I get that.
I get it too when I get my tax bill. So
Workers' comp, it was a 10% increase. Property liability was workers' comp, 10% increase. Property liability trust, 15% decrease. And unemployment was a 19.6% decrease. So those are the numbers we're working with.
I don't know how, I mean, there seems to be only a couple ways to reduce that number. One is you have less employees, or 2 is you offer some sort of incentive to get them not to take the insurance and go maybe with their significant others.
What is the buyback now?
It's $3,200 and 5 people take it.
And I understand we looked at other communities and saw that they weren't really offering that much of a buyout, but and I'm not even sure, there's no way to really tell how much of a difference it would make, but if you offered a really high buyout, I mean, $35,000 is a lot of money. So even if you have a
So is it
Five or-
208,000?
a five-
It's chump change in the big scheme of things.
a $5 or even $10,000 buyout for everybody that does that, you're saving $25,000 to $30,000. I don't know. There's
I will stay at what you're at now at 3,200. I'm not going up to 10,000.
I'm just throwing numbers out there, so it's easy math for one. But the chief had his
You
hand
scared
up.
the daylights out of me, so
Why? Yeah, but you're still as long as you're saving money at the end of the
you
day.
don't know if you're going to.
Well, that's the problem.
You,
Well, you don't know how many people are gonna change over is the big question. So why don't we, if you guys could come up with a number, then the department heads can go back to our departments and ask our current employees, how many of them would take the buyout if it was this number? Then we could come back to you with, okay, you're gonna have this many more employees that are willing to take the buyout at this number, and you'll have this many employees who are still gonna stay on the insurance no matter what.
You just had it, you moved away from it.
It just has to, you just have to have a number to tell us.
Could we take it one step further and if we come up with a number and then also ask if they not going to take it, what would be the number? What would the number have to be for them to take it? Or they wouldn't be interested at all no matter what the number is? Maybe do like a little survey? I don't know.
I think we should do a survey. What?
I mean, we can't control the cost of insurance. I mean, that's. I don't know. I just feel we're killing the taxpayers. I would like to know, with that increase, what the increase in the budget is from last year. Total budget increase from last year's budget.
That first, you just have to take that new adjusted number.
Not just this,
No, I don't.
every department. What increase are we looking at?
The insurance just changed.
Well, we don't have all the.
Yes, we do.
We have the two that are tabled.
Well, just
If that proposed number is approved, it's all right there.
Oh, okay.
7.22.
Chief, it's at 964.
6.67, 332,327.88 would be the total increase over 2018.
What was that again?
$322,327.88.
You gotta slow down. You're way over my head.
322.
Yeah.
327.88.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's 6.67% increase.
And how much of that increase is the insurance?
Insurance is $208,025.55.
Yeah, but out of the 6.7% increase in the budget, how much of that 6.7?
Probably about 4%.
Go to page 2
Because
of that
you've got
sheet.
$208,000. The total is $332,000, so 322. So you only have $124,000 left. So it's probably about 4%.
Okay. How are we going to give the taxpayers a break? I mean, I just don't get it. I guess there's got to be some give and take here. I mean, getting sick of staring at you. Say something.
We want to come up with a number for bio plan for the insurance and have the department heads do a survey.
Not your number.
How about New Durham just went to 5,200?
5,000. See
Okay.
if get a survey.
All right. I'll ask everybody to ask her and we'll have it back for you next week or next meeting.
Unfortunately, I think we're at the point that the only way these numbers are going to come down is by decreasing our number of employees. And by decreasing our number of employees, we're going to decrease services.
Yep. Might be something we'll have to look at.
That's unfortunately, we're already at that tight point.
Kind of. Do you want to improve the benefit line?
So we're not going to vote on that one tonight anyways. Table the insurance and benefits, correct? Make a motion, we table it till the next meeting.
Okay. I'll agree. We really need a motion though. We just have a consensus.
Well, yeah.
Okay. So we've got 3 that are tabled, is that right?
Yep. So we're just gonna have them ask for the $5,000. Do we want to have them ask like
$5,000.
two other questions? What would it? At what number would you be interested in one, or would you, no matter what, you're never interested in taking the buyout?
I just, right now, just 5,000.
Okay.
I mean, that's a heck of a raise. The way I look at it is,
It is, but also that number.
I've
More people that take that,
I've
the
looked at that number since I walked in here at 5.
bigger, the more that number is going to go down.
Well,
I don't know. I guess I'm really looking at it from the standpoint of, yes, I understand it's a lot of money, but it's give and take. It's really benefiting the town more so than that person. In reality,
I don't know, I'd like to get another $10,000 in my paycheck. But
there are some people who are not
so would
eligible.
I. But if I get rid of my insurance that I pay every month, I would
yeah,
get a pretty good increase. But
Same here,
I
so.
take the insurance, so.
So what are we gonna do for the taxpayers? I guess that's my question. It's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I think, I mean, we've essentially, all the big budgets, we've really pretty much approved with the exception of the insurance. So, I think we approved them because we felt that
Well,
they were
there's a
held.
lot of the stuff in there that we're locked into. They're again short of taking away personnel. I mean,
Right.
the merit that was put in that we own, the 2% that we own, you know, that's out of our control, unfortunately, but I don't know.
When you look at health insurance, I mean, the insurances and retirement we are locked into. That's 1,000 roughly, or 90,000, we just took off one, so, or 88,000. That's something we can't control, we have to pay that.
You gotta speak up. I'm
Okay.
having trouble hearing you here. I'm sure nobody else can.
Okay, the $88,000, that's a locked-in expense, we can't control that in the benefit line. That's something we don't have any control
Right,
over.
I get that.
The unemployment insurance, that's a locked-in cost, we don't have any control of workers' comp. Property insurance, all those lines we don't have any control over.
I'm not talking about the insurance and benefit line. I'm
Okay.
talking about the whole picture of Milton is what I'm looking at, is
Yeah.
the tax rate. So for the next meeting, with what you have now, can we have a breakout of everybody's line that we've got in the increase? Total.
I think we got that, don't we?
Not printed out on a piece of paper where I can have it right in front of me.
Right, so we have it all individually. You're saying you just, basically this sheet here,
That sheet there.
next to what you want, you'd like to see the increase.
Increase
The
or
percentage
decrease.
increase per-
So there's not probably any.
All right. So we can do that for the next meeting?
I can have it done in the meeting.
What?
I can have it done by the end of the meeting.
You wanna work on it?
Yeah, I mean, we have it all, it's just
Yeah.
in different spots.
No, it's all right there.
Well, yeah, but it's not on one single sheet of paper. It's all in your one spreadsheet.
Which is right there.
Um,
If you want the difference from 18 and 19 listed out like that, I can do that in 2 minutes.
in 2 minutes?
Yes.
All right, well, sitting here
Russ is
staring
doing
at
it
each
right
other
now.
all night isn't accomplishing
No.
anything. So
Okay,
that's one thing we want for next meeting. In the meantime,
what do we got?
you're going to,
I got a few things to do. I made
you
notes.
need to work out something with the cemetery trustees, Pat, the Board of Selectmen, to have a workshop to figure this whole cemetery budget out.
Yeah, maybe we could do it at, let me look at the next meeting to see what we have for scheduling times.
Right, but we cannot wait till the last minute, because we've already moved our date once with the budget committee, and I don't want to really move it again.
No. Do you think you could do, what's the earliest you could be here? Time-wise?
Which, when are you talking?
Like in the, like if we're meeting at 5:30, could you be here at a 4 o'clock meeting? 4:30?
When are you talking, next week?
Next week? I'm not, either next
I
week?
can't do it next week.
Okay. During the week, like during a Monday meeting?
I am not available at all next week.
Okay, all right. Then we'll do it the week after. The rest of the week is pretty bad, okay. I'll
What
see
about the rest of this week? Rest
we
of-
could- I don't know what they're gonna,
I got Tuesday and Wednesday, and then that's it.
yeah. And I'm not gonna have anything before the trustees are meeting Wednesday. We're not gonna have any answers. So the next, all right, and then we're gonna be into another meeting,
Which is going to be,
the 5th.
but we need to have everything done before the 5th.
Could we meet the 5th at 4 o'clock?
No, because I've got to get out early the next day for the
Voting.
voting.
What? 4:30?
Well, then we're not going to make the 1st.
What if we, the 29th?
What day's the 29th?
Monday.
It's 2 Mondays away.
What about the 29th?
Let me work on that date. See if I can get everybody, all the other players available. Could you do that day?
Yeah, but it's gonna have to be 4:30-ish.
Okay.
Would be the earliest.
Let me see if I can get everybody around.
And then are we going to, on that same night, try to get the rest of this stuff cleaned up and voted on?
Okay.
So I think the meeting with the, about the cemetery should be workshop format.
Yeah.
But to follow our bylaws, if we're voting on stuff, that needs to be an official meeting, so
Yep.
Maybe a
we'll
workshop.
have to have a workshop followed by a meeting.
So-
that Monday
4:30,
night.
then 5:30.
Yeah,
Okay, let me see what I can get
you
from.
agree with that, or?
Yeah.
All right,
You want it in motion?
hopefully, I
Let me see what I can get to.
don't think we need a motion for everything.
Let me talk to the cemetery trustees and see what they can do, because we need to get them here too.
Right, they might even not be able to do it, so.
That's part of the other problem. So it's because I get you guys, I gotta get the cemetery trustees. It's not like it's
I think,
herding cats here.
yeah,
Sorry.
all right. So does that,
I'm good.
we good with all the old business? And
But as much as we can get done.
so, moving on to approval of minutes.
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes as written.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Next on the agenda, we have expenditure report, but I think we've kind of covered that as we've gone through all the
Yeah.
budgets, so.
And I just got it, look at it, so.
All right, so then, next, I guess we'll take a
Public
quick
comment.
public comment session and just ask that we'd appreciate if you could stick to what we discussed on the agenda tonight, if anybody has any comments. And we'll request that you try to hold it to 2 minutes per comment. So, on that note, I will open it up to public comment and invite you to come up to the podium.
I hate that part.
You bought it.
Oh, excuse me, sorry.
Lynette McDougal. Excuse me. As a taxpayer, I'm kind of appalled at these numbers I'm seeing, you guys. It seems like to me we're maybe management overload or something. I mean, we need to do some cutting somewhere. Train people, cross-train people, things of that sort. Maybe get somebody professional to come in to show us how to do this, because this is taxpayers' money going up. I agree with you. You present this to the taxpayers, I'm surprised people aren't here screaming. I'm kind of sad they aren't. I know you guys are doing the best that you can, but we've got to have better than this. We're a small town. This is small. And these expenditures are not small. And I know it's not your fault, but maybe think about having somebody professional that knows how to do these things, come in and cut things down. Because we need to save the people that are here. I'm sorry, that's all.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Larry Brown, this is not a comment for tonight. This is a review of earlier comments made. Happened to be in the discussion of using Foster's for the publication of whatever public notice it happened to be. Taken from a magazine called The Week, which is an accumulation of reporting around the world and nation. And its title is The Death of Local News. And the question is, do we still need local news? Only if things like schools, taxes, infrastructure, and government accountability matter to you. When fewer reporters cover local business and government, taxes can rise, public officials can indulge their worst impulses. This is a general comment, not here. When local newspapers shutter, close down, the community experiences increased government waste and inefficiency. The loss of local reporting depresses citizens' engagement in state and local politics and produces voters who are at the fringes rather than representing the common interests of the people. Just thought you'd like to know why local newspapers still matter. Even with warts, Foster's is a public record that can be searched and referenced day after day with a piece of paper in your hand.
Right. Our public
I'm just
comment?
going to speak from here. I just wanted to say thank you, Nancy Wayne. I just wanted to say thank you for enacting the end of meeting public comment. It will make a difference.
Yes, thank you. Sorry.
Welcome. Any other public comment? All right, I'm not seeing any, so I will close public comment. Move on to administrator comments.
A couple things. I talked to the moderator a couple weeks ago. It appears that our deliberative session is scheduled for February 9th, and the school is going to go first this year. We'll be going second, so it'll be February 9th in the afternoon. I just want to go on to what Andy Rawson said. We are going to be doing trunk or treat on Saturday. We do need more vehicles, so please contact him. His number is on our website from 5 to 8 o'clock at the Milton Town Beach. Again, we do need more vehicles, so please get a hold of Andy and speak with him about contributing or being a participant in that. The other thing is that I do need the board to sign off on the warrant on voting, so if you could please sign off on that tonight. This is the voting warrant, and so if the three of you could sign here.
So we need a motion to accept that, or
I think you need to do a motion to accept that, and
is there a motion supposed to be worded a certain way?
I didn't get that information. I just got the information to have you sign it. So, I'll put the Selectman of Milton. This just came in my inbox. And this is for the voting on November 6th. It has to be posted. And today is October 15th, and it's National Grouch Day. So, we got through today with a lot of these, so. And it is National Grouch Day. They need to sign that.
Just that I made the difference that they were asked.
And I do need one other thing signed, is the most recent updates to the employee handbook, and just if you could sign off on that as well, that the adjustments were
We're
made.
gonna update the policy. When are we doing that?
Policy for the
Change
public.
of public comment. So
Yeah, I will,
put it on the agenda for the next.
I'll put it on the agenda, and I'll mark up the bylaws and include it in the next agenda.
Okay.
I'll wait till our next regular
Right.
scheduled
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah,
not the
yeah.
Like a special meeting,
special
correct?
meeting.
And
So where do you want me to sign?
just down with their initial or something.
Just initial and date it?
Yep. And if Andy could do that. I also want to thank everybody for their patience in working with us throughout the budget season. I've contacted mutual towns in the area about different inquiries, and it's funny, sometimes the response you get is, please be patient with us. We will not be responding to inquiries during budget season. So I thought, gee, well, we respond, but so thank you for your patience during this time and your support and help. That's all I
Right.
have.
Good. Selectmen comments.
I'm going to piggyback on what Annette said. It kills me. I wish we could do better.
Well, that's
mean-
why I was saying, if we get somebody in here that knows, maybe.
Well,
they can do it.
the thing is I know Milton, and I know how Milton operates. I mean, if we're gonna have to, there again, everything is locked in, we're gonna lose services. What services do we want to lose? Is what it boils down
Well,
to.
we should look at our services.
Yeah. So, anyways, with that said, then the other thing is, the condolences to the Brown family, huge, and condolences to where he worked, because that was a huge family of his, and everybody's just got to be totally devastated. He's just an absolutely wonderful kid, and just watched him grow and watched him, but condolences to the family.
Yep, I second you on that. That's for sure. It's very unfortunate.
And to thank everybody, Andy, for stepping up to make sure things happen while Karen's out. So.
Yep. All right. I think you've pretty much taken everything I've had to say. Oh, just one thing, the 7 to save for the schoolhouse.
Speak up.
The 7 to save for the schoolhouse. We did get an answer on that. Unfortunately, we haven't been selected this year. So we tried.
Thank you for doing that.
Was worth a shot. So,
Next year.
yep, we can try again next year and look into other avenues too.
Well, one of the things I am going to ask for on the next agenda, if we can get our state senator and Kenny from
Executive counselor.
executive counselor in to talk about some of the grants that are available for water upgrades that we've missed out on, energy upgrades. There's some, I know some money's available for economic development, so if we can get him in and see if we can see what's available and how we apply. So
I'll contact his office and see what his schedule allows. I don't know if he'll come next time, but in the next few.
okay,
in
I want to
future
get it ASAP before everybody else grabs it when the new budget comes out.
Yeah.
So
I'll call tomorrow and see what his schedule allows.
All right,
motion to adjourn.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.